Miss our friends getting together. That was great.
Moda ani lefanecha, Moda ani lefanecha, oh Moda ani lefanecha, Moda ani lefanecha, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam. Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, oh Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam. Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, oh Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam. Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, oh Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam. Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, oh Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam. Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, oh Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam. Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, oh Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam. Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, oh Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam. Once more. Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, oh Moda ani lifanecha, Moda ani lifanecha, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam.
Thank you, Jody, for welcoming us in with that beautiful Moda Ani chant, and blessings to everyone for a wonderful morning, and welcome to our new program. Steve, if you can allow me to share screen, that would be great. I'm going to just, to kick off the new program, I'm going to light a candle in honor of our being together and the community that we're creating here today to continue our journey during this COVID crisis. We started with a program in March, and then we did the, I can't even remember what that was about, but I do remember the last program was, we studied the Kabbalah, and this program starting today, and it'll go until it's on the road to Hanukkah, and we're gonna be cultivating and awakening our attributes of ourself, which is our inner prophet or our inner prophetess. I'm going to put in the chat here a link to the program, because I know last time people were asking for a program document. So we'll be updating this every week as we go through the program. Jody, Steve, and I have been starting to study the prophets. I don't think any of us want to claim to be prophet or prophetess experts, but we are using a particular textbook by Rami Shapiro. It's not a textbook, it's actually an interpretation of the prophets, and he organizes it in a certain way, which we all really resonated with. And we're going to do our best. He focuses on the male prophets, and through our practice today, we're going to explore the wisdom and the essence of both male and female prophets in a balanced way. And as we do every week, we're going to use chants and guided meditations to cultivate and awaken our inner prophets, so that we can bring forward outer transformation in the world as we're living during this epic period of time. We are aware that this program will be happening during the course of the next 2 months, which are going to be sort of major months in the the history of our country and whatever is going to be unfolding. And we're here to be together as a community to really support each other. And we sense that we're going to have to be calling our highest selves and our awakening our aspects of being a prophet or a prophetess as we go through this time. And that's why we picked this theme. So I I will include a link in the chat here to Rami Shapiro's book. It's called Hebrew Prophets, Selected, Annotated, and Explained. So we're going to kind of travel through the book, and it's in 7 parts, and our program is in 7 parts. And so this week, we really thought we would look at the mission of the prophets, and that's the first 18 pages of the book. And we're really wanting to explore within ourselves 3 questions. What does it mean to awaken our inner prophet or prophetess? And can we dare to hear what the prophet dares to speak? And can we dare to respond to what we hear in the immediacy of our own lives? And thirdly, what is the mission of the prophets that we are awakening within us? So, and the full explanation is in the book, or in the notes here in the participant program. So I'm not going to go through it all, but the last program we studied the Kabbalah, and we were really trying to cultivate awareness of these energies, and we talked a lot about the vertical column of energy, and our goal was really to open those energies, open those channels, and be connected with the divine. And in many ways, that was preparing ourselves both to be our highest selves, but to be aware, to cultivate awareness of our oneness with God, to actually live that non-duality. And from that place, the prophet or prophetess sees himself or herself as a servant of God. And there's a lot of humility in the prophets as they're serving as instruments for God. There's something like in a prophet energy or prophetess energy where they need to be heard, and the people also need to be listened to. This can be an internal thing, or it actually can be you interacting with other people in the world. Rami explained one way to explore the relationship to God is like the relationship of a wave in an ocean, in that each of us are like a wave as part of the bigger ocean, and that as we are living with an awareness of being aligned with God within us, we are connected with all beings in, with, and as God. So that was a very powerful metaphor that he elaborates in his opening of this book. And the awakening, not surprisingly, since we're in the Jewish approach, is that it awakens us to act justly, compassionately, and humbly, and to fulfill on the vision of human freedom and the promise of peace. And I really appreciated his definition of peace as the sense of wholeness and completeness, that when we realize the interconnectedness of all things, when we experience others in a dance, and the dance itself is God, or like I like to say, the love force. So again, and I love this quote from Cornell Lewis. He says, "Justice is how love shares itself in public." And so as emissaries of godliness and of the love force and of godliness, we're here to just cultivate that. And I'm going to pass it over to Jody to kick us off with the first chant.
Paul, did you want to share a story about that first chant?
Sure, yeah. The first chant is called Tzedek, Tzedek Tirdaf. It's sort of the mantra of mantras within our Jewish community. And it's been invoked a lot. It was invoked a lot during the honoring of Ruth Bader Ginsburg during her funeral services. She had it hanging in her office. Shefa created this chant in August of 2008. It was right before, it was at the Democratic National Convention in Colorado in Invesco Field. Remember, there was this huge stadium of 80,000 people filled, and I was there in the crowd. And Obama ended his speech with this message of hold firmly without wavering to the hopes that we confess. And I was so excited. I was so energized. It was like until that point, it was probably my peak experience of really experiencing the unity of consciousness. There was just like a symbiosis that was happening there. And that comes from the New Testament, Hebrews 10:23. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. So I called her in Rachmael and was like, and I asked her for a chant. And then so she created this chant where she combined the Tzedek Tzedek Tir Daf verse from the Old Testament with Obama's text about holding firmly. This is still true today. So I just wanted to share that little story about the birth of the chant.
And I think that's perfect as we're heading into the election, that we hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess, and that justice will prevail. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Tzedek, tzedek, tir dov. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Tzedek, tzedek, tir dov. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Tzedek, tzedek, tir dov. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Tzedek, tzedek, tir dov. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Tzedek, tzedek, tir dov. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Tzedek, tzedek, tir dov. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Tzedek, tzedek, tir dov. Once more. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Hold firmly without wavering to the hope that we confess. Tzedek, tzedek, tir dov. Tzedek, tzedek, tir dov. Tzedek, tzedek, tir dov. And if you come back, Justice, Tzedek, Tirdof is also from Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 20. This next chant is called Send Me. And on Shefa Gold's website, she has many chants by the prophet Isaiah. And this is called Send Me. Et mi eshlach umi yelech lanu, hineni shelach leni. From Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8. Who shall I send, and who shall go for us? Here I am, send me. And Paul will put that into the chat for us. This is a practice of listening to the call and responding. When I hear the question, who shall go for us? I wonder who that us might be. As I step forth to fulfill my unique mission, I am doing this first for myself because I must, and then for all those who need to hear my voice, for all those who do not yet have found their voice, for all those who do not feel heard and have not found their way to the great conversation. I come into the fullness of my presence and then go forth for all of us. We depend on each other. Going forth will inspire others to also find their own voice, mission, power, and destiny. As you develop this practice, I suggest you begin by first chanting the question and allowing the answer to well up inside you. Then let your willingness to be present and be deployed burst forth in response to the call. Second here. Et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, umi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, umi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, umi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, hineni shelach leni, hineni shelacheni, hineni shelacheni, hineni shelacheni, et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, umi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, et mi eshlach, et mi yelech lanu, et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, hineni shelach hineni shelacheni, hineni shelacheni, hineni shelacheni, et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, umi eshlach, et mi yelech lanu, et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, hineni shelacheni, hineni shelacheni, hineni shelacheni, et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, 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 hineni shelacheni, hineni shelacheni, hineni shelacheni, et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, umi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, 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 hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, 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 hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni. Once more. Et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu, 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 hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni.
So let's just stay with our eyes closed, keeping the power and the magic and the medicine of these chants. Just let them seep into all the cells, shaping all the molecules of our body and aligning them with these chants, these words. And just as we're staying quiet, let's allow the crown of our head to reach up to the sky and bring our shoulders back and allow our hearts to open and our palms to open, either facing up or down on our knee. And practice breathing through your bellies. Allow the breath that's entering and leaving the belly, the abdomen, to heal all the nerve fibers that may have been disturbed somewhere in our past. Family traumas, ancestral traumas, historical traumas, our own personal story. Just allow it all to be healed and seamed and blessed right now. And if we bring our attention to the base of our spine And we feel this frequency of energy, this frequency of light waves that's just sitting at the base of our spine, energizing the spinal column, healing the spinal column, recharging the spinal column with the healing energies of the Shekhinah. And we ascend upwards through the spinal column until we get up to the heart center. We just take a pause in the heart center and breathe. Open up our hearts. We allow the light of our hearts just to touch every living being on the planet. We send our energy and our light to every one on the planet who's in need of healing, who's in need of light, who's in need of health, good health, food, shelter. And we offer our blessings to them. And we allow those rays of light and energy to penetrate inward from our heart center to every cell in our body, recharging every cell in our body, enlivening every cell in our body. And we just breathe deeply right here, sitting in our heart center. And as we ascend upward through our throat, up to the crown of our heads, we feel this frequency, this ball of energy just above our heads. And we just, in our mind's eye, we hold that frequency of energy, that pure light channel, as it enters back down through the crown, through the Keter, and just stays in our head for the moment, recharging our brain cells, sending light energy through the stem of our brain, causing deep, deep eternal wisdom and understanding, Chokhmah and Bina. And we descend down into our throat center, and we feel the strength of our throat, of our language, of our words, of our connecting to everyone as one on the planet. And as we descend back into our heart center, we stay grounded here. And we hear the prophets say, Hineni, who shall I send? Who will go for us? And we say, here I am, send me. Hineni. And as you stay in this place of Hineni, find your mountain. Find the space on your mountain where you're just grounded, you're rooted. You feel the power of the earth, feel the power of the trees, just the roots, strengthening you, nurturing you, grounding deeply, deeply into the earth's energy. And just breathe in our Tiferet, breathe in our heart center. And as you're sitting on this mountain, just feel the fall colors, alive, electric, shining into all parts, all aspects of our great souls, with light, with healing, with color. And as we stay in this place of magic, of grounding, of rootedness, of colors, we say Haneni. And we pay attention to our right shoulder area and our left shoulder area. And we feel this line of light, a beam of light just crossing our chests from Gevura to Chesed, from Chesed back to Gevura, opening our hearts, opening our strength, opening up our compassion, opening up our capacity for justice. And go say to the people, you hear, but you do not understand. And we say Haneni to ourselves. We chant the mantra to ourselves, Haneni. And we say, you see, but do not grasp. You see, but do not grasp. And we repeat the mantra, Haneni. Here I am, supporting you on this journey. And they say their hearts grow fat. Hineni. They stuff their ears and cover their eyes. Hineni. And we just stay in this heart center. And we say Hineni inside our hearts. With all the colors surrounding, beautiful sounds of light surrounding. Bolstered by chesed, bolstered by justice. And we breathe. Unless they hear and see and soften their hearts so they might repent and heal. Hineni. So let's stay centered and bring our attention down into our abdomen region. And we identify our right point on our hip. Hod as gratitude. And we identify our left point on our hip. Netzach. It's repairing the world. Our Tikkun Olam. And we feel a line of energy just crossing those 2 points, being generated by our Yesod, our sexual, our healing energy rising up from the base of our spine. And we create this powerful, powerful pyramid from the points of our hip up to our Tiferet, up to our heart, a perfect pyramid of energy, of light. And staying centered in Tiferet and staying centered in Hineni, we offer our thanks to the prophets, for unstuffing our ears. We offer our gratitude to the prophets for uncovering our eyes so we can hear. We continue repeating Hineni softly inside our heart center, inside all the colors and sounds of light that are penetrating through every cell in the body. And we offer gratitude to the prophets for our response to soften our hearts so we can turn from our deadening errors of our own life. Hineni, Hineni, Hineni. And we offer gratitude for our capacity to heal the suffering that they have caused and live no longer plagued by fear and hesitation. We offer gratitude for our capacity to heal the suffering that they have caused and live no longer plagued by fear and hesitation. And we stay in our heart center for another few minutes, and then Jody will join us for the completing chants.
Whom shall I send, and who shall go for us? Here I am, send me. Et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu. 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 Hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni. Et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu. 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 Hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni. Et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu. 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 Hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni. Et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu. 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 Hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni. Et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu. 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 Hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni. Once more. Et mi eshlach, umi yelech lanu. 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 Hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni, hineni shalacheni. Paul, if you would like to wrap up, and we'll have a little time at the end for sharing. Paul, unmute.
Thank you, Steve and Jody. Just resting in a place of kind of balance, quiet. And from that place, if anyone wants to share any aspect of what we've been talking about and experiencing this morning about awakening, being present, hineni, to our godliness and to sharing that with others, this is we have a few minutes for sharing. Phil, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you all, even Jody and Paul, for leading us into this this place, which is new and yet old and familiar. I wanted to share that when I met Steve and Jody, it was in the early 1980s. So it's been closing in on 40 years now, and we've been dear friends ever since. And Marla is now just joining us in the room here. And where we met was in the S training and the seminars that we took together after the S training. And one of the themes in the S training, it wasn't spoken as such, but it just came through, was anything was possible. And it was an era, it was a time in my life where I felt like the sky was the limit and I could do anything. And it was very heady, very powerful to feel like we could, individually and collectively, we could accomplish so much. And, you know, I remember that experience. It was so meaningful. But at the same time, it was like, okay, life moved on. I got married, had children, started a career, bought a house, sort of the stuff of life. And those dreams, or that image, or that power, that feeling like anything was possible, it was like it got put away in a little lockbox. I mean, I had this image as you guys were doing this program of a little container with a door that you open up, and sure enough, there are all those hopes and dreams and the experience of being powerful. It's there, but it's been shut away for the last 35 years or so. And I really had this moment where I thought, okay, well, we are coming upon a turning point here. And my hopes, and I dare say all of our hopes in the next 2 weeks, is that we have a moment where things that may have been ridiculous now may be possible again. So I had this image of sort of opening up the lockbox, and those hopes and dreams and the experience of being powerful that I had stored away are able to emerge again. So it was a great moment, a great experience to feel like, okay, well, maybe this is a time where I can step up in a new way. Having said that, I was reading this morning a little bit before the program. In the Post, there's an article about this congressional race from Georgia, and it sort of highlights the challenges that we all need to be prepared for, be prepared to run into as we go out and try to expand our lives, expand our world, and follow those dreams that we may have put away. And that was my experience. So thanks for everything.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all that, and for seeing that doorway of possibility reopening. That was really inspiring. Yeah, and we control those hinges, and we control the key. We have dominion over that, so it's sort of up to us to control that door in a way during this time, and going forward. ANAEL?
Thank you for bringing us into the prophet time of our life. And from 5781, I've gotten the message that for each parsha, I'm doing an art expression of what my personal learning is and perhaps what I'd like to share. And the other thing that's come out is a coffee table book called The Dawn of Creation, The Rise of Feminine Consciousness and Expression. So I'll be tuning in every week to this and to the other practices that I do so that I can really be open to the Nevuah, prophet, the Barti.
Shemati, yeah. So when you have that channel open, then your creative force, comes forward, and I hear that's what's happening for you, that you have these ways of channeling your divinity, your experience of divinity, and you feel called to share that, right? I mean,
I am now. I didn't used to be, but ever since the pandemic, yeah.
Great. Steve, Jody, Alexis, sorry, and then John.
I don't know if I can make this short. I will try to. I'm having a very personal experience now. And if I cry, it's not because I'm upset, it's just emotional outlet. 2 weeks ago, I was on a family Zoom, and I expected to be telling them about my upcoming surgery. And it started out by the host telling us why her brother was not there. Her brother wasn't there because he had to go in the hospital to have a stent and had triple bypass. Another cousin told us that his wife had gone into the hospital, wound up getting COVID, and had 3 strokes while she was there. She was on the call, but that also was a lot. I felt almost ridiculous telling them about my upcoming back surgery, but it was a big thing for me, and I did tell them. So I had my back surgery on Monday. It was as good as could be expected. My doctor, my experience at Shady Grove, to my amazement, was wonderful. I came home on Wednesday. I had 3 days of help. She left yesterday morning. I had friends over yesterday. It's challenging. I'm in pain, but things are good. I'm able to walk. I'm walking without the numbness. That is the reason that I had the surgery. And then this morning, I got an email from one of my friends saying that her husband had to go to the hospital on Suburban on Thursday to put a stent in and wound up having 6 triple bypasses, or whatever you call it, 6, whatever they are, passes. So I'm feeling not only me, but my community is, if not experienced directly from COVID, indirectly, because all of us who have been in the hospital face the question of, do we go home or do we go to a rehab facility? And each has its pros and its cons. Anyway, I sat down. I'm not in my usual place. I sat down here because here was where the ice was. And I quieted down in a way I have not quieted down. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not sure I heard all the messages today, but I calmed and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Alexis, for sharing all that, and glad that you're thriving in this healing black, and we send you blessings for healing. And we're so great. We're so glad that we can offer this space for you, for everyone to be where they're at and to cultivate who they want to be becoming. So it's really an honor and sweet. Hey, Janet, how are you? So John, I think you wanted to share something?
Well, I'm going to react first. It's, good health is such a blessing we take for granted until we have a problem. And we are getting into a generation with so many people are having these issues. And it is such a blessing to see that medicine can help people. And my companion Susan had a new hip about 2 months ago, and everything is working really well. And thankfully. And can you believe our dog has to have an ACL replaced in a week, and we have to take care of a 100-pound dog, figure out how to. So that's my reaction, and thank you for being my family, everybody. I've missed you all, and this has been a wonderful, wonderful experience. I guess I'll go back to a parsha that I wanted to mention because we just did Bereshit, and there's incredible commentaries and Plout there that talks about that, and we talk about the different interpretations of the sin of eating the forbidden fruit, and talks about the Jewish reaction to that as we make up for the sin to the extent that it is a sin for our people by mitzvot, by helping each other and doing good acts of kindness to each other. And this is really a time when we really have to do all this. And I think Steve and I particularly talked about it, but I've been fortunate enough to be a professor again at George Washington and teaching criminal justice. And my God, what a mess that whole world is. The injustice towards minorities and being dragged into the system and trying to deal with the system, and then 600,000 people a year that try to re-enter from the prison systems and find their lives with all the barriers there. So again, there's so many. Thank you for giving me the gift to be tranquil, to try to help people and try to move ahead. But it is what I've said at every one of our meetings. I believe that we have so much to be thankful for. I'm so sorry for the suffering going on around us, but gosh, we do have a lot to be thankful for, and I'm very grateful for that. And thank you. I look around the screen, and almost every one of you has done a personal kindness to me, and I really just good. And the one or two I haven't is only because we haven't had a chance to get together. But thank you everybody for being such good friends.
Thank you, John. It's 11 o'clock, so just want to honor the time and thank everyone. And please, like over the next week, as you explore this journey that we're on together, please let us know what you're learning about what it's like to awaken the prophetess and the prophet within you as you navigate life. So we really appreciate everyone's participation. And
I just want to share real quickly, if I may, just what an honor it is to work with Jody and Paul in creating this and launching this. What a responsibility I feel in being able to hold a space of healing as Alexis is sharing her experience, John is sharing his. I mean, we all need that space to be held, and that's one of the, I think, the opportunities for this weekly adventure and journey that we're on. And I really want to highlight what Phil was saying about that special box that's, reopening right now, because I really share in that experience. And I often, use that period in my life, the 18 to 25 year, 26 year period of like really shaping who I am. And I think it shapes a lot of people's souls and destinies, but the work that Werner Erhard was doing with Buckminster Fuller and the work that he was doing around the Breakthrough Foundation and really making a difference on the planet and being able to, what I hear from the prophets is being able to make the biggest difference that we can with the least amount of energy, the least amount of stress. And sometimes from the prophet's standpoint, I think it may take some energy and it may take some stress. We may have to sweat a little bit, because I want to recommend a new Netflix movie Jody and I watched by Sir Richard Attenborough on the planet, and how our wildlife has diminished from, in the 1940s, it was about 70% of the planet, and now it's about 36 or 38% of the planet. So as our wildlife is shrinking, so is our humanity. And we have now to turn it around. There is no later at all. And the prophets were speaking to me about that and about the urgency of now.